break the glass before the lens touched it. According to Campbell, when all else failed, we just taped the damn camera to Sam's hand. The opening shot of Evil Dead consisted of me pushing Sam in a rubber raft across a swamp while he leaned out, skimming the camera across the water and swooping over decaying branches. That wasn't the only time the actors had to suffer indignities for the film, not by a long shot. One actress lost her eyelashes while making a plaster mold of her face. Others were mercilessly scratched up by branches in the woods. Mosquitoes swarmed to the Caro corn syrup that the crew used for blood. At one point, Campbell sprained his ankle on set, and Raimi took to whacking the busted ankle with a stick before takes to get a better performance out of him. Wild success. An overnight success is rarely as simple as it sounds, but that's exactly what the movie's producers had their hands on. The finished film became a sensation thanks in large part to some well-timed support from horror author Stephen King, who wrote a review for the movie in Twilight Zone magazine. There, he called it the most ferociously original film of the year. The filmmakers eagerly capitalized on this, getting permission to use the quote on every advertisement they could. Raimi can't overstate how important this was for their success, saying that King's endorsement opened the doorway for the film to be seen. Dead by Dawn. Sam Raimi's next film was 1985's Crime Wave, a goofy crime comedy that completely failed to make a dent at the box office. After that failure, the trio decided to return to their roots and make a sequel to their first feature, Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. A bigger budget and the backing of a studio didn't alter the filmmakers' DIY methods. Most effects were made with the same low-budget approach, and there was no shortage of suffering on the set this time around either, though a lot of the burden fell on one unfortunate performer, the director's brother, Ted Raimi. In a foam bodysuit, Ted portrayed the possessed old lady, and he was so hot inside all the foam and latex that he was constantly sweating. As Bruce Campbell pointed out, in one scene you can see a stream of sweat pouring out of the suit. Army of Darkness. In the 5 years between Evil Dead 2 and its sequel, Sam Raimi filmed his first major studio movie, Darkman, which was successful enough to get him enough funding from Universal to bring life to the third installment in the franchise, Army of Darkness. This time, instead of sticking with the cabin-based shenanigans of the first two movies, our hero Ash travels back to medieval times to fight, well, the Army of Darkness. Unfortunately, creative differences plagued the movie's long road to a theatrical release. Thanks to a dispute between Universal and one of the film's producers, the film sat on the shelf for a year. Afterward, the studio decided to do a major recut of the movie. According to editor Bob Murawski, they didn't really understand it. They thought it was too long and didn't respond to a lot of the funnier stuff. The ending in particular was a point of contention, with the studio wanting something more optimistic. One intended ending had the series hero, Ash, accidentally waking up at a post-apocalyptic future, but it was axed for being too sad.
You can make a movie called Army of Darkness, and the audience goes, that was a sad ending. We're like, what?
This resulted in the filming of a new ending sequence, set in the present-day S-Mart, after Ash makes it back to his own time and dispatches one final demon, which was still pretty awesome.
Hail to the king, baby.
Modern Day Ash. In 2013, all three of the original schmoes, Campbell, Raimi, and Tappert, produced the Evil Dead remake, with newcomer Fede Alvarez directing. Although fans and critics alike were mostly pleased with the remake, there was still one thing everyone wanted: more Ash. As Sam Raimi described it, fans really loved the 2013 remake, and I loved it. But afterwards, I still heard that, now we want your Evil Dead with Bruce. I didn't know if I had much to gain, but they were so insistent, we finally said, all right, let's just do it. Along with his brother Ivan, Raimi finally began work on another, Ash-centric installment of the franchise, eventually landing on the idea to do a TV show. It was a natural fit, with the Evil Dead crew having worked extensively in TV on the fantasy show Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. The future. Since it debuted in 2015, Ash vs. Evil Dead has been a hit with both audiences and critics. In a lot of ways, there's never been a better time to be a fan of this series. So what's next for the franchise? In the wake of Alvarez's remake, there was some talk about doing a crossover movie that would collide the two franchise universes, bringing Ash into the orbit of the remake's characters. Plans for such a project are apparently on hold, although when asked about the crossover chances on Twitter in 2016, Campbell stated that it's still entirely possible. And it's true when it comes to this enduring horror show, the sky's the limit. To think that such a little film, originating out of the deep woods of middle America through sheer force of will, would continue to have such an impact is pretty remarkable. Or as Ash would put it, groovy.
All right.
Nice.
There we go.
That was pretty cool.
Do you guys have any more questions?
What was your favorite scene? For both of you.
You go first.
Well, I would have to say the scene where Ash gets Scott's like got fucked up outside, And he brings him back in, and then his girlfriend is there already possessed, like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like,
creepy.
and he doesn't notice because he's trying to help Scott, and then the battle between him and his girlfriend, and he has like conflicting feelings because he's like, oh, if I kill her, she's gonna be dead, like, you know, she's not coming back.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite scene. But I think that it's interesting because in this mythology, at least in the beginning, it's like if you become a Deadite, there is no coming back. Like even if we, like even you know he burns the Book of the Dead, it still kills all his friends. Even, you know, even though they're still there physically, they still, you know, once you're in, the demons inhabit the body. That's it.
Yeah.
They're done. And I've always thought that was interesting because, you know, a lot of the times in pop culture, it's like, oh, they're possessed, but if you know, if you
exorcise them,
or if you go back to like where it started from, and you kill the source, then they're
go back
okay.
to being,
And so that's kind of the difference in this mythology, at least in the beginning. But what's your favorite scene?
I wouldn't say it's my most favorite scene, but something that kind of weirded me out. Yeah, that was my tree rape. I'm like, that scene was like, what the fuck? I don't remember that. And then watching it now, it's like, what's going on? What's happening? And then you see the branch just shoot in.
Because you're like, no, like, I'm just thinking this is happening, but it's
I'm just thinking really dirty. Like, this is... And then the branch goes in, and you're just like, oh, okay. Like, that happened. And then she, you know, getting her clothes ripped off, and then she takes off and goes back to the cabin. But I'm like, that's kind of weird. That's probably, like, the most memorable scene that kind of shocked me.
Because it's like, dude, like, why? Okay, so there's a shot of the demon at the window, and it says, join us.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck? And then thinks it's okay to go outside.
She goes out to the woods
to
and
investigate
like,
by herself.
I know
Doesn't
you're
tell
out
anybody
here.
where she's going.
Yeah.
No shoes.
Just goes outside.
Yeah, no shoes. In a robe.
And then not only does she go outside, but she wanders off pretty fucking far, dude.
Yeah, because she's running for a while after she gets attacked.
And
back
it's
to
like,
the cabin.
you're in the middle of the goddamn, you know, like, deep in the woods. Like, come on, man. Why did you go out there?
Yeah.
Even the woods be raping. It's crazy, dude.
So bad.
Dendrophilia. That's what it's called.
Hashtag me too.
Damn.
Oh my god. Dang, is that what it's called?
A dendrophiliac is someone who has sex with trees.
Oh fuck.
So
that's real.
I think dendrophilia is tree on human activity.
Wow.
Dang.
Don't ask me how I know that.
Savage. Freaky.
Actually, I get that from Can't Hardly Wait. So that's a reference to Can't Hardly Wait. Yeah.
I love that movie, dude.
What about you, sir? What was your
My favorite scene?
Yeah.
First of all, if my girlfriend's listening, if she were to get possessed, I'd fucking kill her. Like, there's no way. We've already discussed this. If I get possessed, she kills me. If I, vice versa, no remorse. Because once like you said, once the body is inhabited by the spirit, you can't save the body. So, with that being said, my favorite scene is when Ash kills Scott and he puts his thumbs into his eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like a freaking claymation, like the ending of the claymation, but it reminds me of like a Peter Gabriel music video. How it's like the stop animation or whatever. I think that's really cool. I like the way that looks. But that whole scene of him killing him and then go fighting himself, whether to kill the girlfriend, that's the other scene that I like. But like I said, I would kill her no matter what. I'm sorry.
Like, sorry, babe.
Yeah.
It was good while it lasted.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
This film, it's paced very well too.
Yeah.
I really like the pacing. It doesn't feel too long. It really gets in and does what it sets out to do. It sets up the atmosphere really well with the with the bench and stuff swinging outside, and it's weird. It's like that cabin has become like a staple in pop culture. I think it's so impressive that that a movie, I'm sure those guys weren't like, oh, we're making a masterpiece right now, but I feel like a lot of people do consider this like, you know, very, very important cinema, at least for in the horror genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's definitely iconic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. I remember, when was it? Probably like in high school or something. I was watching a show called Burn Notice.
Yeah.
And Bruce Campbell's in it. And
he's
I
like
was
the sidekick.
He's like a retired like CIA guy, but he's all like overweight and like. I was like, that looks like the guy from like The Evil Dead. Like I was like, I didn't say The Evil Dead because I don't think I remembered the name of it, but I was like, that's the movie, the movie with the chainsaw hand guy. And then, like, you know, you look back and I ask people, like, is that the guy from that movie? And they're like, yeah. I was like, fuck, he let himself go. Because he was pretty big, in the beginning. And then seeing him, like, now in Ash vs. the Evil Dead, you can tell he actually, you know, he got in shape for the role. And he's
like slightly chubby, but definitely not as chubby as he was in Burn Notice.
Yeah.
He's like normal, like this. I'm an older man, chubby. Yeah. But you can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah.
But Burn Notice is a good show. Man.
Yeah, I like
it doesn't
that show.
get enough credit.
No.
I liked it a lot. It was on USA. I think.
Yeah,
It still is.
I've seen a few episodes.
It's always on reruns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked Bruce Campbell in Bubba Hotep. I thought it was pretty cool, Bubba Hotep.
Yeah.
And his cameos in the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, especially the second one where he's like the usher and he's like, shh. He tells him to be quiet. He's like, oh, fix your tie. And he's like,
He's like,
Also,
oh, your shoelace.
A bonus Swann fact on the video games for the Sam Raimi movies. He does the narration.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bruce Campbell. Yeah, throughout, like when you're web swinging. And he's like, you know,
he's like, try like, double pressing X or whatever. And he's like, you can jump twice in the air. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it walks you through your controls and stuff. It's pretty rad and fun.
I remember that.
good old Ash.
What else would we do? Do you guys want to do Swann facts?
Yeah, man.
Always, right?
Swann
Fire.
So, the original script called for the actors to be smoking marijuana during the part where they first discover and listen to the tapes. And I guess like they had to reshoot that. They decided, oh, let's really do this, right? And I guess everybody was so like did uncomfortable shit on film that they had to go back and reshoot that whole scene. But they did shoot that scene high, and it didn't make it into the film.
So they really smoked for the movie.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Sounds
Or
about
I guess
right.
they went back to refilm it because it was just like they were acting really weird with each other or something.
Oh man.
That's pretty
Fun. I
funny.
would love to watch that scene with them high. But moving on, Bruce actually helped on set with props and cinematography during the
That's cool.
shooting. This was actually filmed in an abandoned cabin that they had found, which is cool.
They just found it.
Pretty, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
A cameraman slipped during filming and hit Bruce's face, causing him to lose a bunch of teeth.
Wow, shit. Damn, that's crazy.
The white contact lenses were very painful to wear, and they had to be taken out every 15 minutes during shooting.
Yeah, they look pretty painful.
They do.
It looks fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
Oh. The temperatures were so cold that the camera froze and had to be thawed out by the fireplace inside.
Dang. I mean, you can see the breath during the filming.
Yeah, but they're kind of skimpily dressed. Like, that's torture, dude. I don't even know how the fuck they did it. Especially because I think Sam Raimi is notorious for shooting long hours.
Okay.
So they were the crew was probably like, fuck you.
Yeah.
The tape recorder found in the cabin actually belonged to Bruce's father.
Oh, dang, that's cool.
You're saving that money.
Yeah.
And props, right? This was one of the highest rated video rentals of its year, 82, I believe. On the first day of shooting, the crew actually got lost in the woods.
Whoa.
Oh, that would have been creepy.
Yeah, would have.
Fuck.
creamed corn dyed green was used as the possessed guts.
Yummy.
If you guys were interested in that.
That's cool.
I said this during the